Hey kids, so I was actually gonna upload another video of my second float experience, which I actually did before Christmas. Um, just holiday, got caught up, and then after that lost track of time and just forgot to upload the video. I was just thinking about it, and I pretty much have vivid recollection of every moment in the tank, so I thought just go ahead and shoot the video now. So this time, because I was late the first time, I was a good 15 minutes late, so I didn't quite get the full experience. The full time you're supposed to be in there is 90 minutes, so I was like 15 minutes short. This time I actually showed up quite early. I left my phone at home, didn't realize what time it was, and just walked in and, you know, basically just asked them what time it was when I got there, and they said I was a half an hour early, so I just sat down and they have lots of like reading material and just stuff laying around for you to amuse yourself with. A lot of people don't like to leave the facility right away afterwards, so you end up with a lot of people just hanging out, kind of looking through some books of artwork and stuff. And this particular place actually published a book that's where they had a bunch of floaters, like various artists go do a float and then submits a piece of artwork based on their float experience. So you can kind of sit there and browse through some of their books, just the various literature that they have laying around for some people to amuse themselves after the float. So I showed up early and I just hung out for a little bit, and I actually got in the tank earlier because they were done cleaning it. They tend to filter the tanks out a few times before or in between people floating. So basically, when the tank was done being filtered out, I could get in right away. So I actually got more than 90 minutes this time around. So I mean, I probably had a good extra 10, 15 minutes on my float this time. So I guess it pays to show up early. So this time I just hopped in the tank. I took my shower and I hopped in, and I was kind of familiar with the whole floating thing, so it wasn't really as kind of a bizarre sensation it was the first time around. It was just crawled in and just got on with the float and just like hung out and just relaxed and just lay back and just surrender yourself to the medium. And I mean, I think I was just kind of like hanging out, taking it easy for about 15 minutes before I was really in the zone, I guess you would say. Um, and I started to just kind of like work on my visualizations, try to picture various things and expand my mind's eye and work on visualizations. And I was trying to transcend for a good while, and I was trying fairly hard using various techniques, and I couldn't do it. It was really hard. So I didn't leave my body. I didn't go anywhere. I was still very much grounded here. Grounded here. I was still very much in the tank the whole time. My mind didn't really go anywhere too crazy. I wasn't talking to aliens and stuff like that. Um, there, one of the visualizations I was working on is that I was trying to picture my spirit body, which subsides kind of at the back of your skull, which is where it's connected to your physical body. One thing I try to do when I meditate is I picture movement and momentum and try to think of what that experience would feel like physically, but I imagine myself doing that as my spirit body. So when I'm meditating, I sit in the lotus position and I think of that sensation that my spirit body would experience. And I picture myself underwater, and there's that sensation you feel when you're a kid and you're swimming and you can do the somersaults underwater. You hold your hands out and you kind of spin and you kick yourself like this, and you can do somersaults underwater. Or there's like the kind of like dolphin kick where you can do barrel rolls like this, but you're spinning in a circle as you're doing it. And I think of myself as a spirit body not being encumbered by gravity and stuff like that, and I picture it above me spinning and kicking and just moving about freely, and I pictured myself in that state in the float tank trying to break free, and just trying to transcend. There's a couple of points where I told myself, go, just go. and I was trying to talk to my spirit body and getting it to leave my physical body. And at one point, I was trying to. I basically figured that it's not going to happen. I'm not going to transcend. I'm very much here on planet Earth, and I might as well just enjoy this experience while it's there. So I pictured myself just floating as I would float, but I pictured my physical body as like a raft, and I pictured my spirit body using my body as a raft to float. So my spirit body was sitting in a lotus position, meditating on top of my physical body, where my physical body was the raft. It's kind of the vessel at which it uses to exist and to thrive here. I went through various visualizations, and I was still very much here. It was some of the visualizations I experienced is when I was laying on my back, and I kind of like opened my eyes, but I could see my spirit body lying on top of me. It's like this like vivid purple color, but like you could see through it because it's not like physical. It's not a solid object, so I could see through it kind of. So it was like a transparent purple. There's one point in time where I didn't really feel like weird or funny when I was laying on my back, but there's one point in time where I leaned up just to look forward because I was just sitting there. So I leaned up and looked forward, and I see this sliver of light in the door where light was coming in from outside of the tank, which there's a light outside in the room that you're supposed to turn off, but I forgot to do that. So I could see like this little strip of light. And I had this sensation of just seeing that light, and the light was kind of coming in and reflecting off the water, so it's like creating a mirror image. And like it, I had this like out, like I was just completely like not here. Like I've seen these pictures, or there's this video on YouTube that I saw of a pro wrestler from like WWE from like way back in the day, where the dude tries to do they call it like a shining star, where he jumps off the the belt, and he does like a backflip, but he screwed it up and he landed on his head. And they showed the video of him just like out of his mind. You could tell he was not here on planet Earth. Like he was just gone, and he had no idea where he was and what was going on. I kind of had that sensation overcome me as I was looking up and seeing light kind of like for the first time, and just like the whole experience was like, where am I? I didn't feel like I was like far out like elsewhere. I was just like very confused and very like perplexed, just like seeing like light, like where am I? What is going on right now? And I experienced that for that. I mean, that probably only lasted for about 30 seconds before like I came back to it, and I was like, okay, I'm still here in the float tank, and I'm just floating on my back. So I lay my head back, and that just that little bit of light, that visual disturbance really kicked in like all sorts of like fractals and color patterns in my vision. And I'm laying on my back, and I can see along the parameters of my peripheral vision, there's all these like these bokeh light balls that photographers capture and light when they take pictures of something, and then there's like light in the background, but it's blurry so the camera doesn't pick it up, so it just comes like a little light disc. And my vision was just riddled with those all the way around the parameters of my vision. And inside there was like this spiraling fractal changing patterns everywhere, kind of like that old screensaver from Windows like 3-4 generations back, where it's just kind of like these cheesy lines that are spinning back and forth. But it was much more dynamic, and there was like a shadow that it was leaving behind, so it was like leaving trailers and tracers and stuff. And that was probably lasted like a good 10 minutes or so. I was focusing on that and trying to perpetuate it and make it go on and kind of like make it expand and get bigger, but it didn't really go much beyond that. There was some cool visualizations that I was trying to keep going, but I really couldn't get it to get any bigger or like go into it. You couldn't get the wormhole effect or anything where you feel like you're traveling at warp speed really fast. And it wasn't much more beyond that. I tried to work on transcending for probably a good 45 minutes. and I really didn't get anywhere. And after that point, I started to feel kind of like anxious because I didn't really want to try too hard to transcend because I was afraid that if I did, my time was going to be up, and then I would just like lose it, and it would be kind of a waste of time. So at that point, I was basically just going back to hanging out and just taking advantage of the opportunity and enjoying the experience in there. So it was, the last 15, 20 minutes was all just superficial thought and just hanging out. I was kind of thinking at one point in there, and I remember my exact thought process is that when I'm in the float tank, everything is really easy and it's really enjoyable and it's really relaxing and it's just a really nice experience. Whereas when I'm meditating, I'm trying to solve a problem. I'm trying to accomplish something, and it feels kind of like a task that I felt like almost like transcending in the tank makes it kind of like a chore, and it kind of takes away from it a little bit. So I kind of like made peace with the whole idea of transcending in the float tank because the float tank is fun. It's like it's more like a playground for me. That I shouldn't really try too hard to make it work, or it's not fun anymore. So I kind of made peace with that concept in that time. But floating in the tank at the end, where I was kind of like just like I stopped trying. I was just kind of hanging out. I was floating in the tank. When you touch something, you'd feel like you're floating in the tank, but you're kind of bouncing around back and forth just from various vibrations in the water that move you. So you'd like touch the side of the tank and you'd feel like it touch your pinky. You'd feel like a little ping all throughout your body. Um, so I was kind of just admiring the absence of sensation, that when you do finally feel something, like that slight stimulus feels very intense, much like the light did when I looked up to see that after going 15, 20, 30 minutes without seeing light. When you see it, it's really intense. Even just like that small little sliver of light that's coming from like a desk lamp that's next door in the other room that like you're completely isolated from. So you'd feel like little sensations where like your skin touches the side of the wall and stuff, and it's just like it, it's just like this little short, like just little prick of sensation that's very like stimulating to all of your senses, almost like you can hear the light the almost like you can hear it and see a little light when your skin touches the side of the wall. um, but in floating around the tanks too, there's two pipes way up above your head, and that's where they drain the tank and they filter out the water, and there's a spigot where it comes out the other side. When I noticed when I floated up towards those pipes, I'd come up to this pipe over here and it wouldn't make a sound at all. But when I come over here, this pipe, I could hear the impeller from the motor on the outside and make this kind of tick 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 tick, change pitches and tones, and that was really amusing. And I just kind of like float there and just kind of listen to it for about 5 minutes, just listening to that tiny little subtle sound and how it like changes pitches and changes tones. And I was kind of just like laying back and just focusing on that sound, and 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 you can feel like your mind just like open up as you're like listening to these droning, uh, quickly repetitive sounds. So I was kind of just meditating on just that sound alone. And I probably did that for about 5 minutes or so before I decided to just push off the wall and continue to float for a little bit. Um, and then when your time is up, they pipe music into the tank with you. I think they started out with this like nice little xylophone tune where it's like just like just some like easy to listen to, very not harsh music. It's very like delicate and gentle. They try to bring you back slowly, but it's really nice melody. I always sit there and I think, like I could totally float to this. Like why don't I just listen to this the entire time? But I guess it kind of defeats the concept. So you know when you get up, you don't want to just like push the door open because then you feel all this like cold air coming in because the tank's something like 90 something degrees, and when you push it open, you kind of feel this like draft come in, and there's all this light everywhere. It's like an assault on the senses. You kind of push the door open, and when I do it, I curl up and I put my head down and I'm lifting the door up over me because the light's really intense at first. So you want to kind of like get out slowly and and with all the air, everything, all the fresh air, so it's like the air conditions are completely changing. So you get out real slow, and then you take your shower, you start to rinse off, you shampoo your hair, and try to get some of the salt off your skin and out of your hair. And then they started playing this really like soft jazz melody, and I'm like, this really doesn't make me want to leave this place at all. This kind of just makes me wish my wife was in here with me. So you just get out, and then when I'm done after I've showered off, I put all my clothes on. You go out there and there's people like sitting there drinking tea, and like everybody's just like afraid to go outside because everything is just so like stimulating afterwards, and everything just feels really intense. There's like traffic, fast moving cars, and just like things are moving, and there's like lots of loud noise. You just don't want to go out there right away. But usually when I get out of the tank, I don't feel so much like sitting down and just relaxing. I feel very like relaxed, and my muscles feel very elongated, and like I feel like I just got a really nice massage, but I also feel really energized. Like I just got done with like a rewarding jog. I feel like I've got this like adrenaline boost, and I feel like going out and like doing stuff. So I mean, like everybody wants to hang out and drink tea, but I just want to go out there and do stuff. Yeah. So I actually bought another gift card while I was there. I bought one for my wife for her birthday. So I've got plans to go again. So I'll upload a third video after that one. So stay tuned. See ya.